So, what exactly is digital cognition? And what is the requirement for such a platform or such a portal to come up with this? Let me briefly try and explain that. So, cognition, as it is defined, is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. Of course, the sense that I am focusing on over here could be visual, and then from that, a mental cognition, so to say. So there is a humongous need for us to go ahead and distill information that is available to us. So there's all kinds of information that is available to us in today's date. There is information about organizations. There is information about specifically about startups. There is information about where certain investments are being done, what kind of technology is being favored, what kind of industries are being favored. How does the end user basically distill this information and what do you make out of it? Now, who exactly is the end user? Whom do we want to cater for? So, who's our prospective customer? So, this is just a very brief notion of as to who the prospective customers could be, and those could be organizations at the highest level who are investing in certain startups, investing in organizations who are moving in a certain direction which is both disruptive in the market and is also let's say path breaking. So whether you end up disrupting something which is already existing, or you are going into a direction which is more of what is famously now known as the blue ocean strategy. So, are you still disrupting something in the red ocean, or are you totally going into the blue ocean and doing something different over there? But depending on all of this, we will go ahead and bucketize the organizations, we will go ahead and bucketize the prospective customers. And not only this, the prospective customers would also be individuals. Individuals, as such, who are part of the corporate world, the employees of various organizations, and also within organizations, there the information is required in a certain manner which is not available in today's date. So, whom are we competing with? Whom are we planning to compete with? Obviously, there is a competition already existing in the market, and some of the organizations that I could think of are Traxon, Crunchbase, and of course LinkedIn. So LinkedIn does not only cater for individuals, like what you see over here is the jobs page, which I get to see if I am prospecting for jobs on LinkedIn. And the similar thing can be seen on Crunchbase also. There is a people repository that they maintain along with the company's repository. And obviously Traxon would also, I think, provide people's information, which I have not checked out yet. So having said this, so this is the what the initial analysis of the competition looks like. And of course there are other organizations that I've already kind of looked into, but I don't mention them over here. So this is what the existing platform looks like right now. And I can very proudly say that from inception to whatever has been done till date, whatever has been achieved, has been done single handedly by me. And of course, I want to change this situation going forward. I would want to, at the earliest possible, get a team involved and get some funding involved in this. Because the way it has been conceptualized, it is not something which can be achieved single handedly. Of course, I do understand that that is not possible, and otherwise it will end up being a pipe dream, which I don't want it to be. Now, what does this do right now? It basically does a lot of data ingress. So there's a lot of data ingress that is happening right now. Let me show you a little example. Let's say for a certain profile in the market, which is quite famous in today's date, I were to look at certain organizations in a certain geography. And I would to say that the reason I'm looking for this is I want to understand as to for this organization 2 Sigma, how this particular profile moves from one organization to the other. Who are the folks who come in into 2 Sigma as a data scientist? When they move out from 2 Sigma, where do they go? And that's how I create this relationship. I want to end up creating this relationship between organizations, not only on the basis of a certain organization being funded by a certain agency. So let's say there is the digital currency group and they go ahead and fund something like, sorry, not safe partners, so this probably would be a wrong example, but let's say they go and fund some fintech startup, and then they go and fund other fintech startups. So are these fintech startups related? So there is one very critical factor, which is the movement of the employees. If employees were to move from one disruptive startup, say, which is looking at something to do with smart homes, to something which is got to do with food tech, then maybe that's a generic profile that the individual is moving in. But if an individual were to move from one smart homes startup to another one, which is again into smart homes technology, then it is easy for an analyst like me to say that yes, these two organizations are related, their product or their offerings could be related, and they would probably compete neck to neck in the market in today's date. So that's a very simple inference to draw. But if that inference is backed up with data, and if I were to do that in a manner over here, so let's say I went ahead and did a search, and this is happening live. So I'm going ahead and collating this information live from a Google feed. I'm not getting into anybody's proprietary data or anything of that sort right now. So if I were to give this dashboard or this analysis platform to individuals who are part of these organizations who want to go ahead and invest, so they'll be able to create these linkages much better than what they are able to do in today's date. So that is a primary premise that I have. And further on, like of course, I don't want to reveal everything right now, but there will be such things which we will come up with going ahead. So if you look at any of these profiles, what has come up is these are the folks who are there with 2 Sigma, right? So these are the folks who are there with 2 Sigma, and I also am looking at Wipro. So I also want to look at Wipro just as an example. Infosys. So how do I basically reach this stage? How do I go ahead and get all this information up? So there are different back-end processes which are involved in collating this information. But what I really want to focus on is that I want to keep it absolutely automated and employee intervention free, so that anybody who ends up using the platform gets certain standardized results, and you don't necessarily have to be dependent on the quality of hire within your own organization. And that's just a little introduction of as to how digital cognition works and what is it that we plan to do going forward. I'll keep on posting such updates over here. Thanks for listening in.